Hi guys, it's Becky with Heirloom Soapworks, getting ready to make soap today. We're going to start off with a batch of eucalyptus and hopefully also make a batch of rose. But first, let's get the eucalyptus going. Hey soap fans, it's Becky with Heirloom Soapworks, coming to you from the soaping studio at Heirloom Soapworks, and I am going to make a batch of soap. I thought I would bring you along for the ride. I'm going to make eucalyptus, and today I am using eucalyptus essential oil. This one happens to be from Essential Depot. They have good quality. I will be putting a little color in with Nurture Mica, and it's called Savage Garden. Ooh, that sounds kind of fun. You can see the color here, hopefully. I think we may just do a swirl. And then I'm going to be using colloidal oatmeal, very finely ground, which doesn't add a whole lot of grit, but it adds a little bit of texture, a lot of skin conditioning. And I always like it. To me, it makes the bar feel a little more hard and long lasting. So it doesn't go away as fast, which is always a good thing. Okay, so what I have here is my olive rice bran oil, already measured out. And this is my RSPO palm oil, which is the sustainable palm oil, rainforest friendly and all that jazz. And then coconut oil, which I have pre-melted mostly. And we'll combine those. Melted those in the microwave. So there we go. There's that. And I try to do the boring stuff ahead of time, a lot of the measuring and such. Next, well, let's give this a whirl because you can see there's some that are still kind of solid. We want to emulsify those together. So we got a nice smooth blend to start with. So now we have all what you'd consider base oils, and we're going to add the lye water solution, which I have pre-mixed up. I like to mix my lye with ice and water so that it doesn't overheat, doesn't create as many fumes, and I don't have to wait as long to soap with it. So here we go. Mix it that it gets lighter as I'm mixing. That is the beginnings of the chemical reaction starting. That's called saponification, and it's what turns the oils, which are your fats, into soap when it's combined with the alkaline substance, which is the lye water solution. So you'll see it as I mix it, it'll get lighter and lighter, and then we're going to start adding ingredients. Okay, and you can see on the stick blender, I don't know if you can see, it's pretty emulsified. It's not separating. So it's not what you would call a trace because it doesn't leave a trace when you drag it over itself. You'll see what I mean later. So we're not ready to pour yet, which is a good thing. I want it to be nice and fluid so that we can get a design in it, get a nice swirl. If it gets too thick, it's not going to swirl properly. Okay, so now let's get this out of the way. I'm going to add my super fatting. And I super fat with a combination of shea butter, cocoa butter, and castor seed oil. It's just a mixture that I've developed over the years that seems to work best in my recipe. Gives it a nice creamy lather that still has plenty of bubbles, which is a good combination. I don't want it to be too creamy where you don't get any nice big bubbles, but you don't want it to be all bubbly. You want some creamy richness to it too. So this is what I've worked out over the years. So here we go. I'm going to blend that in. Just very quickly, because we still want to have time to separate the batter, color it, mix it, all that good stuff. So right now, before we go any further, I'm going to add my oats. And in this size batch, I'll add a couple tablespoons of oats. And then I will add in my fragrance. Ooh, that's so good. I love that eucalyptus. And if you wonder why handmade soap costs as much as it does, it's usually the essential oils and or fragrance oils. Okay, lovely. Still not to trace, which is good. That's what I want. I'm blending it the minimal amount that it takes to get all the ingredients incorporated properly so that we can still have some time to work with it. Okay, so now I'm going to pour off a bit into another container. Here, I'm going to pour off, doesn't really matter how much I pour off because I don't have to measure any more ingredients other than the mica. So I'm going to pour off probably about a third of it. This is a natural soap because we're using essential oils. So I don't want to go hog wild with the colorants. You know, that just doesn't really lend itself to a natural soap. So measure in some mica. Again, Savage Garden, which is, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, it's kind of a turquoise almost. I think it's going to look really nice. So now we'll blend this in. Oh yeah. Okay, I'm liking that color quite a bit. Now, I'm gonna scrape the sides because there's always some of the white that doesn't get mixed in with the stick blender. So I always like to do that. And now we're gonna do, I don't even know what kind of swirl you would call this. I guess it's not an in the pot swirl. We're gonna do it in the mold. So I hope you can see these. I have a new location of my camera, so I'm trying to keep you where you can see. Okay, so I'm doing about a third of the way full. Then I'm going to pour in the colored Savage Green, Savage Garden. Make a couple stripes with that, back and forth. And then next, I'm going to take my gear tie right here. It's like a coated flexible wire that I have pre-bent so it fits in my molds. And I'm going to do some swirls. And what I do is a couple of figure eights and then a couple plain swirls on each mold. Figure eights, up and up. There's really no real rhyme or reason to this. It never really turns out the same way twice. And now I'm going to attempt to pour into the mold without disturbing my pattern a whole lot. So I'm going to get a spatula and break the fall of the soap by pouring it onto the spatula first so that it trickles on rather than plunking down into the soap. So you can see how it's it's just laying on the top. It didn't go down and disturb the pattern, which is what I want. We're going to save the rest of that for the top is the plant. Oops. I want to cover all that green because I want a layer of white on top of the swirl. And I'm hoping to get a slight layer of green on top of the white. Hopefully you can see this. Now, I'm going to take our green spatula, see if I can do something kind of similar. Make a little bit of a pattern. It doesn't have to be all the way over it now. I don't know if you can see, it's getting thicker, which is what we expect, kind of what we planned for. Oops, that one kind of blopped down in there. That'll be all right. Okay, so here we have a little bit of green left. And now we're gonna kind of drizzle the white on top of the green. Again, not an exact science at all. This is kind of the fun, creative part. Fill in the corners. This mold didn't get quite as much in it, so we're going to fill the corners up. Okay, now got some areas that have a lot of white, so we're going to put some green in there. Perfect. I much prefer working with essential oils in soap. Not only do I think they smell fantastic, but they tend not to accelerate and cause problems in that way. So I like that. Clean off the mold a little bit. I'm letting it set for just a few seconds while I do this. Then we're going to start to swirl a little bit. Going for more of a pattern rather than lifting and giving it waves. So just going to pull the colors into each other like so. Just a bit. I'll do the same with this one. Pulling the white into the green and the green into the white. I'm going to add just a little more white over here. That looks a little green to me. Okay, so there you go. That is Eucalyptus-Oatmeal soap. And the last step I do is I'll spray the tops with 91% rubbing alcohol. That keeps soda ash from forming. So we get a nice smooth color. It doesn't look chalky or anything. So there you go. That's Eucalyptus Oatmeal Soap. And today is March 29th, so April 29th. This will be ready to go late April. It'll be fully cured and ready to use, but we'll have it in the shop before then. Probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks, it'll be on the curing rack and available for purchase. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.